Chicago Fire Soccer Club is an American professional soccer club based in the Chicago suburb of Bridgeview, Illinois, United States. The team competes in Major League Soccer as a member of the Eastern Conference of the league. The franchise is named after the Great Chicago Fire of 1871 and was founded on October 8, 1997, the event's 126th anniversary. The team began play in 1998 as one of the league's first expansion teams. The Fire won the MLS Cup as well as the U.S. Open Cup on the first season. They have also won U.S. Open Cups in 2000, 2003, and 2006, in addition to the 2003 MLS Supporters Shield. The Fire maintains an extensive development system, consisting of the Chicago Fire U23, the Chicago Fire Development Academy, and the Chicago Fire Juniors Youth Organization. They also operate the Chicago Fire Foundation, the team's community-based charitable division. Toyota Park is the Fire's home stadium. History overview. Founded on October 8, 1997, the club was originally based at Soldier Field. Since 2006, they reside at Toyota Park at 71st and Harlem Avenue in Bridgeview. The owners of the Fire are Andal Holdings, who purchased the club in 2007. Andal Holdings chairman Andrew Hauptman acts as club chairman, while the general manager is Nelson Rodriguez and the chief operating officer is Atul Khosla. The Fire are historically most successful in the U.S. Open Cup, winning championships in 1998, 2000, 2003, and 2006. The Fire keeps a close connection with the Chicago Sting by holding frequent commemorative events, reunions, and wearing Sting-inspired shirts. Many notable players have worn the Fire shirt, including U.S. internationals Chris Armas, Carlos Bocanegra, Frank Kloppers, Damarcus Beasley, Brian McBride, Tony Sanner, Corey Gibbs, Ante Razak, Josh Wolf and Eric Winalder. Some of the club's other notable American professional players include C.J. Brown, Jesse Marsh, Chris Rolfe, and Zach Thornton. The Fire also has a reputation for importing international talent, from established veterans like Pavel Pardo, Pyotr Novak, Cuauhtemoc Blanco, Thomas Frankowski, Lubos Kubik and Risto Stoichkov, in addition to younger players such as Patrick Nyarko, Marco Papa, Damani Ralph, Bakary Soumaré and Nery Castillo. The Chicago Fire were named after the Great Chicago Fire that happened in 1871. Foundation and initial success. Founded in 1997 at Navy Pier on the anniversary of the Great Fire, the Fire immediately tapped into the diverse ethnic makeup of the city. The team brought in Polish players Piotr Nowak, Jerzy Podbrozny, and Roman Kosecki, the Mexican George Campos, and the Czech Lubos Kubik. While all showed the talent while playing for Chicago that first year, American players proved most integral to the Fire's continued success. Under the club's first head coach Bob Bradley, and against all expectation, the team completed the double in its first competitive year, beating D.C. United in the 1998 MLS Cup final, and defeating the Columbus Crew in Chicago to win the 1998 U.S. Open Cup. A week later, the team's momentum continued, reaching the 2000 MLS Cup final and winning the 2000 U.S. Open Cup. Internationally experienced players such as Risto Stoichkov joined the Fire, while young American talent such as Damarcus Beasley developed. The Fire quickly became cemented as one of the league's preeminent teams. Nomadic times. With Soldier Field undergoing massive renovations, the Fire moved to the western Chicago suburb of Naperville, Illinois in 2002. The same year, Bob Bradley abruptly departed the team to lead the Metro Stars from his home state of New Jersey. The Fire then selected the U.S. men's national team's top assistant, Dave Sarachan, to assume the vacant post. Chicago qualified for the league final while also capturing the Supporters' Shield and 2003 U.S. Open Cup along the way. The team returned to Chicago and the renovated Soldier Field midway through the 2003 season. After that season, longtime captain Pyotr Novak retired to take a position in the front office. He departed a year later to become manager of D.C. United. In this period new talent emerged, including Jamaican striker Damani Ralph. Still, stagnating performances and the building strength of the Eastern Conference made Chicago's league position ever more tenuous. In 2004, the team missed the league playoffs for the first time in the history. Turmoil and a permanent home. The 2005 season began with the unexpected dismissal of popular club president Peter Wilt by then-owners AEG, a move decried by fans, many players, and club staff. This came as a shock given his brokering of a $100 million deal to build the Fire a stadium in the collar suburb of Bridgeview. He was immediately replaced by Metro Stars executive John Guppy. Competitively, the season was most notable for the blockbuster visit of Milan from Italy's Serie A and the surprising 4-0 away defeat of D.C. United in the Eastern Conference semi-finals. 2006 arrived, and the Fire moved from Soldier Field into its new stadium in Bridgeview, a southwest suburb of Chicago. Toyota Park, located at the corner of 71st Street and Harlem Avenue. In its first season, it played host to an unspectacular league campaign, but victory in the 2006 U.S. Open Cup marked a continuation of the club's successes and promise for the future. The anxiety to win another league title continued to grow. However, Sarachan entered 2007 under intense pressure from fans and the administration to produce a league championship. Tension mounted further on April 3, 2007, when the Fire signed Mexico and America star Cuauhtemoc Blanco to a designated player contract. After a perfect 3 matches to open the year, they won only one of the next 8, and Sarachan was dismissed. Following a brief search, Millonarios manager Juan Carlos Osorio was named the club's 3rd head coach. New ownership. More change came soon afterward. On September 6, 2007, Handle Holdings, a Los Angeles-based private investment firm controlled by Chairman Andrew Hauptman, acquired AEG's interest in the Chicago Fire Soccer Club. Reports estimated the purchase price to be upwards of $35 million. The team has not won a major trophy since Hauptman bought the team. On the field, behind Blanco and Wilman Osorio's central defender at Millonarios, the Fire went on an extended unbeaten run to close the season, easily qualifying for the playoffs but were defeated at New England in the Eastern Conference Final. On December 10, 2007, the Fire announced Osorio's resignation. He was named manager of the New York Red Bulls 8 days later. Hauptman filed tampering charges with the league in protest, and the Fire were compensated by the Red Bulls with cash and draft picks. Changes came quickly in Osorio's way. On January 17, 2008, a former Fire star Frank Kloppers was named technical director in charge of player personnel, and longtime Fire assistant Dennis Hamlet was appointed manager. While the Fire struggled at home in 2008, the team found unusual success on the road, gathering 22 out of a possible 45 away points. Momentum grew with the long-anticipated signing of Chicago native Brian McBride on a free transfer in July 2008. after disposing of the Red Bulls 5-2 in the season's final game. They decisively conquered New England in the first round of the playoffs with a 3-0 victory at home. This was Chicago's first playoff advancement over the Revolution in 4 consecutive seasons, but triumph only lasted for a week, as they again missed the league final with the 2-1 Eastern Conference final loss to eventual champion Columbus. The 2009 season saw few alterations to the previous year's roster. The story of the season was much the same, as continued poor home form offset excellent performances away from Toyota Park. This led to a second-place Eastern Conference finish behind Columbus. Despite this, Real Salt Lake managed to upset the Crew in the quarterfinals, meaning Chicago would host the semi-final for the first time in 6 years. Chicago's nearly flawless home playoff history meant little in the end, as they lost to Salt Lake 5-3 on penalties after 120 scoreless minutes. Shortly thereafter, manager Dennis Hamlet was dismissed. A team in flux. Leading up to 2010, Chicago hired Carlos de los Cobos as head coach. Previously manager of El Salvador, Cuauhtemoc Blanco, Chris Rolfe and Gonzalo Sagars all departed. More changes came in the summer transfer window with the trade of Justin Mapp to Philadelphia, the acquisition of Mexican international striker Nery Castillo, and the trade for former Swedish international midfielder Fredrik Ljungberg. Defender Gonzalo Sagars returned to the Fire, leaving Apollon Limassol after only 6 months away. Despite these reinforcements, the Fire failed to qualify for the playoffs for only the second time in club history. Former U.S. international Brian McBride and club original C.J. Brown retired at season's end, followed closely by the departures of Wilmenkonde, Ljungberg, and Castillo. 2011 began much in the way of 2010, with foundering performances both home and away. After 9 winless matches, Carlos de los Cobos was let go on May 30, 2011. Technical director Frank Kloppers was named interim head coach, behind summer reinforcements Pavel Pardo and Sebastian Graziani, as well as forward Dominic Ero's 12 goals after being acquired in a trade from Houston and Dan Gargan's defensive addition. The Fire qualified for the U.S. Open Cup final and narrowly missed making the playoffs after gaining 24 points in the last 12 league matches. After the season's conclusion, Kloppers was given the permanent manager job on November 3, 2011. Although expectations were modest for 2012, Kloppers' first full season as coach, the year saw a change in fortune for the Fire. The spring and summer months saw several new acquisitions for the club, starting with the reacquiring of Chris Rolfe from Aalborg BK. Rolfe, who scored 8 goals and 12 assists in the 21 games he played in 2012, would later be named the Fire's MVP. Other signings included Brazilian midfielders Alex Monteiro de Lima from the Swiss side FC Wohlen, Alvaro Fernandez from Seattle Sounders FC, forward Gilles McDonald from Beerschot AC of Belgium, and veteran defender Arne Friedrich from VfL Wolfsburg. Although they would fall out of the U.S. Open tournament early that season, the Fire eventually compiled the 6th of November 17 record, the best since 2000, and ranked as high as second in the Eastern Conference before ending the year in 4th place. On October 31, 2012, in the first playoff appearance since 2009, the Fire lost the first-round MLS Cup playoff matchup at home against the Houston Dynamo 2-1, missing the playoffs. 2013 present. In the 2012-2013 off-season, the franchise made some moves to improve on 2012's success. The team acquired Joel Lindper and Jeff Larentovich and also traded Dominic Oduro for Dilly Duca and the rights to Robbie Rogers. The beginning of the season saw the team struggling to score goals, resulting in a record of 2-5-1 through April. After two successive losses to the Union in May, and with veteran Arne Friedrich still on injured reserve, the Fire acquired the former centre-back Bakary Soumaré from Philadelphia. Also in May, Robbie Rogers expressed an interest to play in Southern California, at which point a deal was brokered for Rogers' rights in exchange for Chicago native Mike Magee from the Los Angeles Galaxy. On June 23, 2013, Friedrich, who had not played a 2012-13 game due to recurring injuries, announced his retirement. After starting the season 2-7-3, the additions of Sommer and Magee led to 7 wins in the squad's last 10 games. The Fire were busy in the transfer window as well, adding veteran defensive midfielder Arevalo Larios and forward Juan Luis Aningono. The Chicago Fire also advanced to host the semi-final of the 2013 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, but fell 2-0 to eventual champions DC United. Alleged fan actions in the stadium that night led to a famous editorial piece, "What It Means to Be a Part of the Fire Family," being penned by the club's director of communications, which was seen as an odd attack on the fan base and widely panned by local and national media. After the 6th of June 12 finish to the season, the Fire narrowly missed the playoffs for the third time in the last 4 years, losing out to the Montreal Impact on goal difference. On October 30, 2013, the club announced that the president of soccer operations Javier Leon and head coach Frank Kloppers had stepped down, but the Fire front office had a replacement 1 day later. On October 31, 2013, Chicago Fire named Frank Yallop as its new head coach and director of soccer. On December 5, 2013, Fire MVP Mike Magee became the first Fire player to win the MLS MVP award, beating out Los Angeles Galaxy's Robbie Keane and Montreal Impact's Marco Di Vaio for the honor. Meanwhile, Yallop was busy recruiting a new coaching staff which included Ring of Fire member and Chicago Fire veteran C.J. Brown and former U.S. international striker Clint Mathis as the team's assistant coaches, adding Columbus Crew's Brian Bliss as technical director. Former Fire forward Brian McBride was added as an assistant coach in May 2014 for a short-term assignment. The shake-up extended to the roster, as Yallop moved team veterans and starters and brought in youth prospects, reforming the team while freeing up cap space. Major exits in early 2014 included Chris Rolfe, Austin Berry, Jalil Barber, Daniel Palladini, and Paolo Tornaghi. Filling that void was a handful of youth prospects including Harrison Shipp, Benji Joya, and Grant Ward on loan from Tottenham Hotspur. Despite really looking like a team that could advance to the MLS Cup playoffs, the team once again advanced to the semi-finals of the 2014 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, but were routed 6-0 by eventual champions Seattle Sounders FC on August 13. The result was the worst competitive defeat in club history and saw Frank Yallop issue an apology to Chicago Fire supporters on the club's official website. As the cup run had, the season ended in disappointment, with the Fire ending the season with a June 18-10 record, with 18 draws, also setting a record for most draws in an MLS season in the process. The club began 2015 with renewed hope, bringing 3 new designated player signings in David Accam, Sean Maloney and Kennedy Igboananike to bolster an anemic attack. The club also signed products Michael Stevens and Eric Gehrig, as well as Trinidad and Tobago international Jovan Jones. With so many new pieces needing to adjust, 2015 marked the first time in club history the side began the season with an 0-3-0 record, but they showed signs of recovery by winning the next 3 matches. Unfortunately, April was the last time the club would be anywhere near equal on wins and losses, but the side did still advance to another Lamar Hunt US Open Cup semi-final, playing in front of a sparse crowd at the Philadelphia Union's PPL Park. The Fire fell 1-0 at the same hurdle for the 3rd straight season. Less than 2 weeks later, Maloney, who was the club's centerpiece off-season signing, was transferred back to England, with Hull City citing personal reasons. Despite no hope for a cup final, widespread fan protests and dim likelihood of a playoff berth, the club didn't part ways with Frank Yallop until September 20, 2015, one day after another listless 1-0 home defeat to Orlando City SC. Along with Yallop's departure, the club announced it had named longtime MLS executive Nelson Rodriguez as the club's new general manager, with his first job being to commence a search for a new head coach. Technical director Brian Bliss was given the interim head coaching job, with former player and current club vice president Logan Paws assisting for the remaining 5 matches. The club has finished the 2015 season with an overall record of 8 wins, 20 losses and 6 ties. For the first time in the club's history, Fire finished the season with 0 road wins. 20 losses in a season became the highest in the club's history. On November 18, 2015, Rodriguez made his first moves as GM, firing most of Yallop's remaining technical staff, including goalkeeping coach Aaron Hyde, fitness coach Adrian Lamb and director of scouting Trevor James. Rodriguez also parted ways with the club's longtime director of first-team operations Ron Stern, equipment manager Charles Raycroft and assistant equipment manager Alan Irayo. On November 24, 2015, the club announced that Veljko Paunovic, former coach of the Serbian U20 side that won the 2015 FIFA U20 World Cup, had been named the new head coach of the Chicago Fire. On January 5, 2016, technical director Brian Bliss also departed the Fire to join Sporting Kansas City as director of player personnel, completing the total overhaul of the technical staff. Colors and badge. The official club colors are red and white. Over its history, the Fire have also employed navy blue, sky blue, and black as alternate colors. The Chicago Fire logo is derived from the standard shape of a fire department's crest, also known as a Florian's cross. This style was chosen by the original general manager, Peter Wilt, to establish a timeless image evocative of both classic American sports and the traditions of European soccer. The logo features a stylized C at its heart, similar to the logos of the Bears and Cubs. The 6 points in a ring around the center allude to the stars in the municipal flag of Chicago, specifically the one commemorating the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. Like the Fire's original equipment's apply, intended for the team to be named the Chicago Rhythm. The Rhythm identity featured a turquoise, black and green color scheme, and a logo adorned with the cobra. Team officials ignored Nike's work, and privately developed the Fire identity with the help of Adrenaline Inc., a well-known sports-specific branding agency. The original Fire shirts were chosen because of the resemblance to a Chicago fireman's coat, featuring broad horizontal stripes across the torso and sleeves. In the first year, the home jersey was red and white with a silver fire on the stripe, while the away shirts were white and black in the same style. The jersey has remained remarkably constant ever since, continually maintaining the same format of an all-red shirt with a white horizontal chest stripe, even through changes in equipment sponsor, until 2012 when the white stripe was exchanged for a blue stripe. Conversely, the Fire's secondary shirts have changed much over the years from white with black, to white with navy, to white with red, to all-white style and the all-blue currently used. Third shirts have often been yellow. A popular light blue third shirt was worn in 2005, based on the municipal flag of Chicago, but was discontinued during the sponsorship change to Adidas the next year. The club and the fans make frequent use of the symbols of Chicago as a show of civic pride. Most prominent are the six-pointed Chicago stars, but the light blue color associated with the city, the municipal device, and the city skyline appear regularly on materials produced by the club and its fans. The municipal flag of Chicago is also favored by fans and often seen at the stadium, in a manner akin to the use of the flag of Catalonia by FC Barcelona fans but without a nationalist subtext. Sponsorship Stadium. Chicago plays its home games at Toyota Park, a soccer-specific stadium located at 71st Street and Harlem Avenue in the Chicago suburb of Bridgeview, Illinois, about 12 miles southwest from downtown Chicago. The stadium opened on June 11, 2006 and was developed at a cost of around $100 million. The village of Bridgeview owns and operates Toyota Park. For its first years in the league, the Fire played at Soldier Field, the 61,500 capacity home of the Chicago Bears of the NFL and one of the main venues of the 1994 FIFA World Cup. While that stadium was undergoing a $632 million renovation, the Fire played at Cardinal Stadium in Naperville, Illinois, on the outskirts of the Chicago metropolitan area. They returned to Soldier Field toward the end of 2003, remaining there through the end of 2005. Home stadium: Soldier Field, Chicago. Cardinal Stadium, Naperville, Illinois. Toyota Park, Bridgeview, Illinois. Other stadiums: Benedetti Whaley Stadium, Naperville, Illinois. One game in U.S. Open Cup. Forest View Park, Arlington Heights, Illinois. One game in U.S. Open Cup. Milwaukee Sports Complex, Franklin, Wisconsin. One game in U.S. Open Cup. McCully Field, Wheaton, Illinois. One game in U.S. Open Cup. Shea Stadium, Peoria, Illinois. 2 games in U.S. Open Cup qualifying. Club culture. Supporters. There is a noteworthy fan culture for the Fire, existing from the date the club was founded, and building on an enthusiasm throughout Chicago sports. At matches, supporters and ultras groups occupy a standing area directly behind the north goal, in the Harlem end of Toyota Park. This area is referred to as Section 8, originating from the numbering of the corresponding section at Soldier Field and the American military designation of mentally unfit soldiers. Section 8 Chicago. The Independent Supporters Association for the Fire oversees the activities of these numerous groups, while incorporating a worldwide variety of styles with a Chicago bent. Groups as part of Section 8 generally fall under the Ultras designation. Additionally, an associated spin-off group called Sector Latino congregates in the Corner Kick Section 101 at the stadium's southwest end. The Section 8 Chicago ISA, an umbrella organization for all Fire fans, is a non-profit organization recognized by the state of Illinois. Match atmosphere is known for organized displays of stadium-wide support, particularly for matches of prime competitive importance. Call and response cheering amongst the crowd is commonplace. Fans at Toyota Park for fire matches periodically choreographed faux presentations both to show the pride and inspire the players on the field. Toyota Park remains one of the few American environments to conduct such fan-driven presentations on a large scale. Mascot: their official mascot is Sparky, an anthropomorphic Dalmatian dog. Sparky is usually shown wearing the club's jersey but also arrives wearing firefighter attire. Rivalries: while the Fire have heated rivalries with a number of different MLS teams, Fire supporters of different ages will likely give different responses as to who the club's main rival is. The earliest Fire supporters would list Brimstone Cup rival FC Dallas as the Fire's nemesis, or Los Angeles Galaxy following heated playoff and cup matches with Dallas and LA in the league's early years. After the Fire moved to the Eastern Conference, meetings with Dallas and LA became less frequent. Rivalries with D.C. United and New England Revolution were stoked following several thrilling playoff meetings. The Fire and Revolution are MLS' most frequent playoff matchup, meeting in the MLS Cup playoffs 8 different times in 10 seasons from 2000 to 2009, splitting those encounters 4-4, with the Fire winning in 2000, 2003, 2008, and 2009. New England ended the Fire's playoff runs in 2002, 2005, 2006, and 2007. New arrivals include Columbus Crew, who are the closest MLS team geographically to the Fire, and New York Red Bulls following the departure of former Fire head coach Juan Carlos Osorio to New York in 2007. Broadcasting: Fire matches are televised locally on Comcast Sportsnet Chicago. Dan Kelly and former Fire coach Frank Kloppers provide play-by-play and color commentary, respectively. Matches were previously televised by NBC Chicago Non-Stop and WPWR-TV. Select matches are also nationally broadcast on ESPN, ESPN2, Unamasked, Fox Sports 1, or Univision via the league's television agreements. In 2015, the Chicago Fire and Comcast Sportsnet Chicago agreed to a 3-year deal, which includes 21 regular season and postseason matches for 2015.